The slides will be up on the CCPI website, and that link is right here, webcast/podcast, CCPI STEM, so right there. They'll be posted up there. We also, as we record this, we will also make a copy and put that up on the CCPI website at that same link down there. You'll have an option to see the audio and video, or if you just want to, if you go jogging or something and just want to listen, it's also spun up as a podcast. Okay. So I'm going to ask that you hold your questions to the end. We'll have a Q&A session at the end, and I'll ask you to enter any of your questions in the chat box at that time, and I will read the questions aloud so everybody can hear those, and our presenter can answer those. Okay, we're going to get started. Okay, welcome. My name is Dr. Elizabeth Hawthorne, as I said before. A co-principal investigator with the Community College President's Initiative in STEM Education. I am a senior professor emeriti of computer science and cybersecurity from Union College in New Jersey. So I've been a community college educator for over 3 decades. And it's my distinct honor to introduce Dr. Ed Massey, who is the Regional Network Chair for CCPI in Southeast Region. He is President Emeritus of Indian River State College in Florida. And President Massey retired recently, but in 2019, he brought his college, Indian River State College, to be an Aspen Award winner for Community College Excellence. This is no small feat, so that was 2019. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to President Massey.
Thank you, Beth, and good afternoon, everyone. Have a lot of information I'd like to go over with you. Very important topic, working with industries and colleges for partnerships that are very effective. And so I'm just going to jump right in. Like Beth said, you don't really need to take notes. This will be posted when it's all finished, and you can always reach out to us. First of all, today's topics. I may not do these in the exact order. I bounce around a little bit, but we're going to be looking at the role that ATE funding can play in meeting the workforce training needs, the role of the 21st century community college to do a 21st century workforce training programs, challenges that we all face in the community college system, the use of ATE funding to support business and industry partnerships. We will go into that very deeply. And then also the key elements for a strong college industry partnership. Notice the footnote on that one, and I may stress this 2 or 3 times through the podcast, but it's not an event that we're talking about. It really is a process. Next slide. First of all, needs. I'm going to start off with 2 or 3 softball kinds of slides to kind of get us into a thinking mode. But first of all, we need to look at the needs. The needs between the job openings and the number of people that are being educated and turned out with STEM skills. There is a gigantic gap of 3.4 million between the openings and the people who are trained to take these jobs. Second of all, there's 16 million skilled technicians required that have associate degrees or similar industry certification, and that is right in our wheelhouse as community colleges to help solve that problem. The number of jobs requiring STEM expertise is not a new topic. It's been around for a while, but it's grown over the last decade by 34%, and it's expected to grow even faster as we go into AI and all kind of other different technical areas moving forward. And then coming out of COVID, it seemed like there was a greater labor shortage in industries that needed adequate talent in STEM more than other industries. more than the food services industries, more than other industries. This was the biggest gap and the biggest need. Next slide. The role of our community colleges is really not changing here. We have always thought about community colleges as being very nimble. We've always thought about community colleges being very entrepreneurial. And we had to be that way basically to survive with the level of funding that we typically get over and over. We're geographically positioned across the country to partner with business and industries because they are our neighbors. 90% of the US population is in 25 miles of a community college, so we have great access to these programs as we begin to build them and diversify them. And then the last item, the diverse populations that we serve in our student body, it puts us in a unique position to diversify the STEM workforce, which is one of the issues that CCPI is working on to help resolve. Next slide. Challenges. I, like you, I was a community college president. I was a faculty member in a community college, worked in a community college for 47 years, my entire career. And when I became president, we had a really hard time trying to find the resources to keep up with the rapid changes that were taking place in the workforce. They were moving a lot quicker than we were moving in terms of building educational programs. And one of the reasons were that in most states, community colleges will get a base allocation from the legislature, but 9 times out of 10, there is no startup money and there's no money to actually qualify a program or expand a program that you already have in your institution. So this is where ATE can really step in and make a big difference. And I learned this, and I'm very happy to share with you because I learned it by doing. We could not find a solution to upgrade and update our technical programs. So I got together with all the vice presidents in that area and the deans, the faculty advisors, the faculty chairman, and also the faculty, and just asked them, please help me and help the college find out a way that we can bring our technical training programs up to the 21st century level. So we did that. And what happened is 2 faculty members came back and they advised us as a college to look at ATE because we, prior to that, did not have an ATE grant. So in the next 20 years, we got very involved in going after ATE grants. Over that time, we had 12 ATE grants ranging from $350,000 to $3.5 million in the grants. We couple that with other grants, and I'd encourage you to look at other grants like the Department of Education, the Department of Energy, the Department of Labor, and don't overlook EDA. Economic Development Association will give you money to complete a lab or facility if you don't have the funding to do that. You have to start it and you have to get it almost complete, but they will give you funds to finish it out. So by doing that, we got through grants $24 million over that period of time, and worked really hard in private fundraising. In private fundraising, we picked up $18 million and then worked with the state to get capital outlay funding or renovation funding to upgrade our labs and facilities. And some of you in certain parts of the country, you can do bonding to build a facility or perhaps a renovated facility. And the labs, as you know, are very, very high tech. And this helped us do it. So we ended up with 14 different ATE programs ranging from biotechnology, nuclear technology, laser and photonics, macro and nano, alternative energies in cybersecurity. So we totally, through the use of ATE, totally transformed our institution in terms of accepting and engaging change and also changing the overall culture. Now, if we go down, the second bullet talks about the responsibility that we all have in making this happen. The third bullet is we realized by doing this that we had not been a proactive college. We were sitting back and waiting for things to come to us. So this is a big item here, number 3. You have to become a proactive and not a reactive college to be successful in the partnerships. You go out to the public schools or the school systems and you develop pathways. We found out that a lot of students were not taking the appropriate classes and prepared to come into STEM programs, working with other community colleges, universities on articulation agreements, business and industry, and then the economic development organizations. We also had to designate a high-level staff member to lead the partnership development because it needs to have a focus. It needs to be put in front of the college, in front of the board, in front of the community, and somebody needs to be in charge of that particular area. And then we picked up the adequate funding to start the new programs and upgrade existing programs. Next slide. From the financial ATE financial benefits, and to better understand what this is, if you have not been on one of our other programs, CCPI ATE is a 4-year project funded by NSF ATE. And the end goal, this is the overall goal. We're not selling anything. We're trying to make people aware of where the money is so that you can go and get it. So the end goal is to assist colleges in transforming and implementing the technical programs in your colleges to meet the national demand in the high skilled STEM workforce. The ATE was actually created, this program was created by Congress in 1992. And the annual budget for ATE is $76 million annually. And their goal every year is to give out $69 million for new programs, and the balance go into recurring programs. And over the time since 1993, they have distributed $1.2 billion. Next. Continuing with the financial benefits, is funds can be used to support faculty time, purchase equipment, instrumentation, travel, and other critical areas that you may have written into your grant and they were approved. Now here's a problem. Bullet number 2 is a problem. Only 22% of community colleges have taken advantage of this opportunity. What's happening here is we're leaving money on the table. If you leave money on the table in Washington, it will disappear. And probably ATE will never get that money back again. And remember, ATE was a segment that was put in place specifically for community colleges. So that would result in a lesser availability of funds to community colleges and hurt the community college system. So we're trying desperately to get more colleges take a look at this, and we're going to talk about a lot of ways that we will help you with it so that this does not happen and we do not lose money. Securing the grants are very important. If you go out in your community and say you secured a NSF ATE grant, it's going to be very prestigious to your institution. And it's going to increase your private fundraising through philanthropy, because most people won't give to a dying program, but they really will give to a first-class, classy laboratory space, bringing in the latest technologies and the latest equipment. So it really will improve your private fundraising. So what happens here is your funding model then becomes, to make all this happen, it becomes working with the state, of course, getting your state funding. State funding may go to buildings, a capital outlay, projects in your state, which way it is handled. Then the grant funding and private funding that you will receive from business and industry, private foundations, and individuals if you go out and you work and you ask for this funding. So it becomes a three-pronged approach of putting the funding together that will help you accomplish this goal. Next. Okay, we're going to jump into the elements of a strong college and industry partnership. First of all, just look at your college and look at your strategic plan. In your strategic plan, you're going to be talking about workforce programs in that plan and play off of that because it's a part of what your college is planning to do. You want to go out and really look at your service district and the surrounding region to identify industry that needs STEM trained employees. Now, I know we have service districts. We serve a certain number of counties or a county, and we're not really supposed to venture out of those very far. But in the ATE approach, you have to look at the surrounding region and not just your local community. In the surrounding regions, you may not have it in your community, but you may have it in the region, so you can still put in the program. And yes, you would be exporting talent to another area perhaps, but eventually, as you build your programs, that those businesses and industries you'll gain attention and they'll start building in your area, which will really enhance your economic development. So review the economic development plans of the state and also with your local leaders. I say the state because all states have a plan, and line up as much as possible with the state because that's where some money will flow through the economic development department or agency of your state, and you would be eligible to get that. And it's very important in the local community because some communities don't want to grow and some communities do want to grow. So you have to be careful and be sure you work with community leaders and policymakers about that. Be proactive and approach industries that assure that you can meet those needs. And the last part of this bullet says one-page position paper. It's very helpful if you take a brief explanation of what you want to do and what you think your college can do to help that business. And the conversation ought to lead to a memorandum of understanding. So this becomes a formal document between the industry and the college. Have a public signing. You can invite internally people to that signing, and other faculty members will get excited about that. Other deans will get excited. It will energize your college internally. Invite political leaders, invite leaders throughout the community, invite your economic development people, and you start to build a lot of momentum and a lot of excitement about how the college contribute more to the local industry throughout the area. Next. This is, I'd suggest that you make the diagram something like this. You don't have to use this when this is just an example of industry connections. Touching on all of those, information technology, you can name STEM programs in each one of these: cybersecurity, emerging technologies, clean energy, wind, solar, geothermal, life sciences, biotechnology, advanced manufacturing, wow, a whole list of items in advanced manufacturing. Ocean science, some of you may be in colleges that are associated with the oceans. Not a lot of proposals come in about the marine environment. It would be great to look at that and see if you could partner with some of the research entities in your area and build a partnership with them. So this is just given as an example of a chart that you may want to think about. Next. So strategies for college. First of all, engage in the business and industry in meaningful ways. This is not a handshake kind of deal. This is asking that each side get intricately involved in this plan moving forward. You're looking at co-creating and regularly updating relevant technical skills that can be shared between your colleges. You may have an industry in your state that has maybe 4 different plants, 4 different branches. I bet there's a community college in each of those areas where those branches of the company are located. And all of those community colleges can pull together to solve that industry's uh, training needs. And also in doing that, you're creating a way that you can share resources between the colleges. If you're a very small college, you may not have the ability to do certain things, but if you get 3 or 4 together, you can share resources and make it happen. And leverage the knowledge of employees by engaging subject matter experts. This is so important. When we went into nuclear technology, we did not have a faculty member that knew very much about nuclear technology and could not teach it. But Florida Power and Light became our partner down in Florida, and they sent people to us to be adjunct faculty members and to teach the courses until we got our faculty trained up. Next. It's important to contextualize the foundational skill courses. I'll just stick with nuclear. College algebra was required to get into this program, into this pathway, and many students were having a problem. So what we did is we went to the faculty, the math faculty especially, and asked them if they could contextualize algebra and put in some problems that related to nuclear technicians. And they did that, and we ran a parallel pathway with the math department. And what happened is we got about 14 or 15 students on a pilot project. All of them passed algebra because they could relate it to what they were going into as their profession. And they got into the pathway to become a nuclear technician, making $85,000 to $90,000 when they came out. So next of all, the industry practitioners can serve as adjunct. They can serve on advisory boards. The college needs to develop industry recognized certificates in some case and develop measurable learning outcomes for technical courses. And it could be competency based, but the industry wants to know that the student learned certain skills. And that's a way to document them with their transcript, document the skills that they have learned, and then the industry really is more likely to pick them up. Next. Strategies for colleges continued to participate with industry to recruit and screen candidates, provide career counseling services. We do that already, produce high quality workforce ready graduates. The old saying, well, they went to school, but they didn't learn very much. That won't be the case in this because this is going to be very specifically crafted skills and instructional methods to be sure the students learn. Work with industry to create state-of-art facilities. We have to have help. Many of the STEM facilities are relatively expensive, and they can really help us here. Next. Okay, this is strategy for industry. What are we asking industry to do? Very much the top 3 are very similar to what I mentioned in terms of the college. Subject matter experts, adjunct faculty, industry advisory boards, and candidate screening criteria. They can build that better than we can build that. And then opportunities for participation to interact with company representatives and also learn more by going to the site where the companies are operating, look at their processes, look at their communication, internal communication structure, look at their safety structure, get a feel for the environment, because it's very, very important for a student to walk into that environment and feel comfortable to be successful. And you can do that through site visits and other approaches. Next slide. Participate in recruiting screening. We mentioned that when the students, these next two are what FPL agreed to do. If you can get a company to do this, it's going to be a successful program, I guarantee you. After students have successfully completed the first year program requirements, the industry provided 30 paid internships during the summer. That is a big hook. Industry commits to hiring 20 if the positions are available, and there's a lot of turnover in energy right now with people retiring, and every year we run the program, we've had positions available for students to go into. 20 candidates per year who have successfully completed the entire 2-year program. Starting, as I said, about $85,000 to $90,000 in that particular field. The other fields will vary. And again, work with the college to provide real world laboratory facilities. Florida Power Light actually built the cooling system of a nuclear power plant into one of our buildings when we were constructing a new building. So students had, you can't go out and break a nuclear power plant to learn how to fix it. But if you have a functioning system, and it was functioning, it was not some kind of model, but you could break different things on it and fix it. And that proved to be very, very helpful. And that's one of the things I'm talking about, real world laboratory facilities. If you're going to go work in a nuclear power plant, it's good to train in one. You can't train in one, but if you can build one that they can train in, that's a very good approach. Next. Okay, here kind of coupling up with the college and the industry. Very important, open communications to build a trust and respect between the college and the industry. The next one also important, develop program schedules that work for employees and learners. This is not a typical kind of approach that is going to be 8 to 9 or 9 to 10 or 10 to 11. You have to work because many of these students coming into these programs already have a job. So it'd be late afternoon, night classes, weekend classes, and so forth. Funded scholarships are very helpful, and embrace job shadowing, externships, and the return to industry opportunities for the faculty. Next. Continuing that, the marketing materials. The second bullet here I think is very important. Collect and share appropriate data and make database decisions. When you get into a partnership, there will be times when the emotions will take over, and the college is so different from the industry in internal operations. You have that data to base decisions on, to take the emotions out of the decision, and it's very helpful to have that. Now, this one is extremely important, and so listen up on this one. If disruptive technologies or market changes cause industries to operate outside the scope of the partnership, the college can contact the NSF-ATE program officer to adjust the budget or request supplemental funding to expand or sustain the grant. That's really important because a lot of people have said to me, what happens if it changes? And there are built-in conditions that will deal with the change. Nuclear, remember the country was shutting down nuclear plants. So we went to our program director and said, we want to diversify this grant a little bit and move into biomedical isotopes and also into the environmental piece of nuclear energy, because there was so much waste and it was so hard to store the waste. They needed trained people to work in these waste areas to be sure they were environmentally sound. Next, please. Okay, I don't know if we mentioned it, but if you have chats, please have questions, please put them in the chat, and we'll try to circle back and answer the questions you have. I want to make you aware of two things, and then Beth is going to finish it up, and we'll have time for a few questions. Um, we have a couple of options for you in terms of a fellows program. If you get involved in the fellows program, and you can go to the website and find information about the fellows program, you have to be in a doctoral program. You have to be doing research that applies to workforce or STEM type programs. And if you do that and you put your application in, then you could qualify to get $5,000 annually for 2 years. And that's real money to a graduate student. Believe me, I've been there. And you can find that on the website, and there it's coming up now. And you can look at the fellows program. And the other thing we're trying to do, we have two curriculum designers and course designers that work with us. If you go through a leadership program, graduate program for community college leadership, and a lot of community college employees take that route, probably in that program there was no mention of science, technology, and any of the things that we're talking about in the STEM environment, engineering and math. So we are developing modules with two curriculum designers and working with universities to try to implant these modules into the community college leadership programs that would introduce people to STEM and workforce, where today that is probably not taking place in most programs. So with that, I'll turn it over to Beth, and Beth is going to run you through the current slide and show you that you're not going to be in it alone. We have mentoring programs across the country ready to help you prepare a successful grant.
Thank you, President Massey. We have these 5 mentoring opportunities on the slide for you. My colleague, Dr. Elizabeth Tellis, is on. She is part of the Mentor Up initiative. You can put any questions in the chat directly for her there if you like. I don't know if they may have 1 or 2 slots available currently, but she can address that in the chat. I'm the principal investigator for the second one on the slide. It's FORCE ATE, Fortifying Cybersecurity and Computing Education through ATE Grants. We just closed our applications for 2023, and we were very fortunate to have 14 teams, so we are at capacity at the moment. We both Mentor Up and Force run summer workshops, which is a little bit different than the third mentoring initiative on there called Mentor Connect. They take 9 months to develop an ATE program, and they start in February with applications due in October. So if you're interested in taking a longer time to develop your proposal, I would highly recommend Mentor Connect. They were the first kids on the block doing this, and they've been doing it for almost 10 years now. They started back in 2014. Another great mentoring opportunity is Pathways to Innovation. They're located in Texas, and they run both something that's very relevant to this webcast. They call the Built Academy, which is business and industry partnerships. And Dr. Amber Healer is very famous for helping with that. So I believe they closed earlier this year. And then Project Vision, which is out of Indian River State College, where President Massey is from. They also work hand in hand to build capacity at institutions. If you're not quite ready to submit a grant, they will help you build the capacity so that you can submit a grant to ATE. Very similar to what Dr. Massey was talking about previously. And there's just a picture down there. I'm going to make a little shameless plug. That was from the June 2022 workshop at Prince George's Community College from the FORCE Mentoring Initiative. And we had 11 colleges there, each paired with an individual mentor. So we're really proud of those teams that got funded. And again, we have 14 that are going to come to Prince George's this summer, this June, and hopefully we'll get them submitted and funded. So at this point, we're going to open it up for questions. I'm going to make a little advertisement. We have our next CCPI cast on May 12th, and this is all about the Fellows Program that President Massey gave you a little teaser about, and I'm very happy that I will be moderating that with Ashok, who is on the call, and he is doing a fantastic job moderating, coordinating, the Fellows Program, and I notice we have some of the current cohort on as well. I saw Michael Silva come on. So if you're interested in learning more about the Fellows Program, you can click the link, register online there, and you can also click that link here for Webcast Podcast to get the slides for this CCPI cast as well as previous ones, and then give us a week or two to spin up the recording of this. I see there's a couple questions in the chat. We're going to do one other kind of surprise thing. I'm going to launch a poll, and we'd just like to get some quick feedback. We are a grant, and we have to report our findings. So I'm going to launch the poll as we take the first questions. So we have 5 questions here. If you could take a few minutes to answer those. Okay, let me see what questions we have in the chat. Let's see. We have a comment from our colleague, Raelia. We just won our first NSF-AT grant award with the help of Mentor Connect. That is wonderful. And I happen to be a mentor, I believe, to help with that. Okay, and Ashok has put in there the information, the link for the Fellows Program. I'm not seeing any other questions unless I'm missing something. Dr. Tellis put in there, well, ATE cannot support scholarships. The STEM program is designed to support scholarships and is a good complement for the ATE grant funding. Okay. Oh, we have a couple questions. Okay. Looks like we have a question from Edward. Is there still time to get mentoring for October deadline for 2023? I'm going to ask Dr. Tellis, if you're there, if you could answer that. For Force, we're full, but I don't know if Mentor Up might have availability.
We could probably take 1 or 2 more at this point in time, but you'd have to get in touch with us really quickly. We do, our workshops are virtual, and email to ejteles@yahoo.com, and I'll be glad to chat with you about that. You can go to the Mentor website, and I'll put the address for that in the chat box, okay?
Yeah, I just put your email address in there as well, Dr. Tellis. You had a question. I'm going to post them as soon as we hang up here, and they'll be at cipstem.org/webcast podcast. So right there, they'll be posted there. Okay. From Crystal, what is the next open opportunity for Pathways to Innovation for the Built Academy? I do not know the direct answer to that. Let me put the link in there, and I'm also going to give you in the chat email address of Dr. Ann Beheeler. She is the person who could answer that. Okay. Other questions?
Beth, let me reinforce the mentoring a little bit, just from numbers. The people, organization, colleges that apply without any help and without mentoring, the success rate on those is about 25% successful. Those that have gone through a mentoring program, the success rate goes up to about 75 to 80%, getting your proposal funded. So the mentoring is very important.
Exactly. Thank you for that.
Yes. One more thing. Somebody asked if there are money available for the June workshops. The Mentor Up, which we have maybe full, but because it's virtual, we could take a few more teams. And for those workshops, the June workshops, if they complete the workshop, the 2 faculty get $500. And if they complete, send in a proposal, it's another $250. So each faculty member could get $750. But we also strongly encourage the teams to have grant writers or administrators or other faculty members. So because it's virtual, we don't restrict the members on the team.
Okay. I'm also getting the Pathways to Innovation link here for you. I'm going to copy that address and put it in the chat. There you go. Pathways to Innovation is there. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna end the poll. It looks like we have 79% have participated in the poll. The poll's been open for almost 5 minutes, so I'm going to end the poll, and I'll share the results. If you're interested in looking at those results, let me go back to see if there are any other questions here. Okay. Hang on 1 second. Too many windows open, right? Okay. Okay. Right. Okay, Dr. Tellis, I think you took care of that question. There's June workshop. Is there any monies available, right? Okay. Okay, I think that is all the questions. From Tanya, does our grant writer team member qualify for a stipend? The grant writer for Force does not. I don't know about Mentor Up.
No, don't qualify for the stipend, but they can participate in everything else. And truthfully, grant writers, this is a free workshop for which many grant writers pay many thousands of dollars for. So we strongly encourage, when if you're a grant writer, you also can apply for future learnings. And that's what we found, that the grant writers really enjoy doing those things. So.
Okay, I guess we had another question about I guess we lost Dr. Tellis, or somebody dropped off. The copy of the presentation will be available on the CCPI website, and let me show you where that will be. Okay. So here, if you go over here to webcasts and podcasts, and you scroll down here, right here under April 21, you can see we have the webcasts and podcasts and slides for the 3 previous webcasts. Okay, and then if you're interested, you can register right here for our May 12th webcast, and that'll be the last one before summer, and we'll start them back up in the fall. Okay, any other questions? Okay, Pathways link does not work. Okay, the best thing to do is to email Ann Behealer, and I put her address in the chat before. It's abehealer@gmail.com. I apologize for that link not working. I just did a quick Google search to find that. Okay. Any other questions? Everyone just come off mute and ask a question. President Massey, do you have any concluding words of wisdom for us?
Well, I just thank everybody for joining us on a Friday. I can tell you that the years I was president 32 years. In my last 20 years, I was working on the partnerships and things that I talked about. And that is a lot of fun. That really is energizing. It gets the faculty to understand that the more work they put in, the better facilities, the better equipment, the the better their programs will be. And they were really energized to work with us throughout all of these programs. So let's go back to the footnote. It's not an event. It is a process to start off, get a small grant, move up to a larger grant, develop a collaboration. Eventually, maybe you move into a center type situation. And with each step moving up, you're eligible for more money at a maximum level. So it really will be healthy. It really will change your institution, and you'll feel really good about the outcomes.
Okay, we have someone with their hand up. Eward, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your.
Yes, I'm Elijah Ward from Prairie State College. I'm very grateful for the webinar today. This has been very meaningful to me. It's very exciting because we've got some plans that we'd like to move forward on. I just hope there's still enough time to get mentoring for the October deadline for this year. Thank you.
Yeah, send Dr. Tellis a direct email, and I think you'll be good.
Thank you.
We'd love to have you in force. We're full. Sorry about that.
I understand. Yes.
Pamela. I'm sorry, President Wimbish. Pamela has her hand up.
Okay. How can I register for the June workshops?
Dr. Wimbish, is this what you were going to ask?
I wasn't going to ask that. So
okay. Pamela, right, you can't really register for the June workshops. You have to apply and be accepted to that mentoring initiative, such as Force or Mentor Up. I know that President Wimbish has asked if there's any way, if a college can pay their way to sit in, not necessarily be matched with a mentor, but if you want to come and attend the lectures and the learning, we're taking that under advisement, and because there seems to be a demand for that. So I promised Dr. Wimbish, President Wimbish, that I would get back to her within 24 hours with that answer. So are you, may I ask, Pamela, what community college you're with?
I'm retired I'm a retired faculty member from Dallas College.
Okay. So she's in your district.
right. So I will get on that. What I wanted to ask, just for the people who were on, if they put in the chat, we've been asked to do something in June, and especially rural colleges. And I just wondered if they could say, hey, do it the first week in June, the second week in June, or whenever, because June is life gets very, very busy. So I just wonder, for those that are on, if you were advising us on a time to do another Zoom, when would you suggest in June? Thank you.
And just to let you know, President Wimbish, Force Workshop is June 12th through the 15th.
Right, that's right.
Oh, right, so there would be a conflict there.
Right.
The Mentor Up workshop is June 14th to the 16th. So at least at this point in time, we're not set up to do anything where people just listen in and participate. Future to have kind of little mini workshops of some sort, maybe a day long or something like that, to introduce people and to these mentoring initiatives. But at the moment, I don't think we would be able to put it together by this June. But I've gotten at least one question, and I'll answer that person as soon as we get off. So
thank you, Dr. Tellis. Force is still considering trying to see if we can ramp up for this June. Did you have another question? I saw your hand up, and now I know you're off camera. I just wanted to acknowledge that to give you an opportunity.
Thank you. No, that was my question. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Any other questions? President Wimbish, did you get some feedback there in the chat?
I did. I see a few people responded.
Okay. Looks like
Thank
first or
you.
last week. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I think we've gone over a little bit, but we're always happy to answer questions. But if this is our last call for any questions, we're going to be closing down the bar, as they say, right? So this is last call. Any
we're gonna be
final
opening.
questions? Oh, yeah. Or actually, yeah. We're closing this one and going to the real one, right?
Yeah.
So. Okay, I want to thank everybody again for coming to our CCPI. It's always a pleasure to engage with our colleagues, and hopefully you'll register for our next one. And have a good weekend and stay in touch with us. And I'll get that answer to you, President Wimbish, and you can work with Pamela.
Okay.
That'd be fine? That'd be
That
fine?
will work.
Okay.
That will work. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye, everybody.